Good evening to you, my darlings. I am the Duchess of Equal Money, and I'm joined in with the shy mistress and the bad boy sweetheart. It's exactly 8 o'clock. The station is Spice FM. The show is The Adults in the Room. Today, my darlings, I have a guest. I have a guest who we have been yearning to have in the studio. I have a guest who we have been stalking. I have a guest who I want us to plug in and juice out. And I want this particular guest to give us gems because some of us have been going through what I'm about to talk about.
Yes.
So before we get in, I want our guest to settle in, apewe chai, apewe mandazi, apewe the necessary as we mark the roll call. Please remember today is Thursday. It is Shout Out Thursday. Where I come from, Shout Out Thursday ni siku ya waluya kutuma salamu. So wherever you are, plug into our social media handles, Spice FM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Send some love to all your loved ones. So I'll start by sending love. Today I want to send my love to you who's listening. If you're in Eldoret, Kitale, Kakamega, Ikolomani, my area, Kisumu, Nyeri, Melbourne, if you're ever there.
And you know these days
Kaolan.
I saw someone saying they're listening from South Africa
Yes,
yesterday.
we have
Yes.
Johannesburg.
Yes.
Please, you can plug into the conversation on through our stream that is www.spicefm.co.ke. This is a conversation you do not want to miss. And before even I get in that conversation, Arnold, can we mark the roll call? Na tutume salamu.
Most definitely can. Bay de Ashley, I see you checked in from Machakos. Big shout out to you. Laban, I see you as well. I'm marking you present. Ras Bashir, I see you. Thank you so much. I'm marking you present. Betty Kirigu.
Cairo. Mama mgani, beti mgani?
Kirigu.
Oh, Kirigu.
Kiambu. Kerego.
Oh, I
Achana
see.
na mzungu wewe.
Betty Kerego. Not Kirigu.
I can't roll my tongue like that. Frank says he's tuned in from Ginger, Uganda. Big shout out to Uganda.
Njebale
Thank you so
mukwano.
much. Teddy Brown, I see you as always. I'm marking you present. He says tuned in as usual. Josephine, I see you. Marking you present. Benson Momo, I see you. Alice Nana wants to give a big shout out to you, Barbara Karigo, and
darling.
myself, and her beautiful mother. So big shout out to Mama Alice, tuned in from Nairobi. Alfred, I see you. I'm marking you present. Gladwell, I also see you. He says, big shout out goes to all the adult listeners locked in from Vihiga. Big shout out to you guys. Keep the comments coming in as we go into the next hour.
I want to give a shout out to the bad boy sweetheart. His name calling is improving. I'm seeing we are actually getting somewhere.
Yeah.
Umeanza kuwa Mkenya,
Maybe I go home and I practice.
which is good.
How do you practice?
I go through the comments and I verbalize the names. I'm trying to get my tongue to behave.
Wow.
Yes.
This Kao Lunje Melbourne guy, man.
Let me give a shout out to these guys.
Who are they?
It's Harmless. Okay, I would read
Oh,
that.
harmless
at-
poison plangat tattoo.
At Plangat Tattoo. They're drinking tea. A big shout out.
Thank you for plugging in, my darlings.
Yeah.
If you're joining the conversation, we are the adults in the room, and this is the day we have a guest. Now, our conversation for today is how to build a successful blended family. How to build a successful blended family. Today's conversation, we are joined by a psychologist, a life coach, a lady who I find very amazing. I have stalked for a week. She's called Jackie Kea. You know, I'm very authentic and real.
Yes.
I always say, I've been going through some of the things. And the reason why I have, because I am a potential candidate of some of the conversation she's about to speak.
Yes.
As you all know, I have a child.
Yes.
I'm from marriage India Dirisha.
Yes.
It ended.
Yes.
And it's been about 8 years.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm thinking maybe it's time. And I would like to know, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. We're in a society where death can occur,
Yes.
the partner.
Yes.
We're in a society where separation and divorce is in front of us for some of us. We're in a society where we have young teenage mothers,
Yes.
and at some point in their lives, they might or will move on into other relationships. So who are these people who are going to get married? It is us, the adults. So today's conversation is how to build a successful blended family. And the person who has to take us through this is Jackie Kea, because she has gone through the journey. She is a testimony, and as Kenya says, she can witness.
Yes.
Jackie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making time. So before I give you all these names and titles, who is Jackie Kea?
Jackie Kea is a psychologist.
a counselor, a life coach, a founder of the Blended Family Network, an organization that supports the adults in blended families to build emotionally healthy and functioning and balanced step family units for all the members of that unit. It's not just for the couple, even for the kids
Yes.
in the family.
So you've incorporated everyone,
Yes.
the spouses and the
Yes.
children.
Yes.
What motivated you? Because you're the founder of the Blended Family Network, and you don't even call it STEP. So let's start by. Can I take you back a bit?
Oh, yes.
Yes. You know, in Kenya, I come from an age where I read the Cinderella story.
Oh, yeah.
The Cinderella story, there was a stepmother. My child is reading Peppa Pig. Those things that they do is read Coco Melon. So now, and that's the narrative that has been there, that sometimes people push the narrative of anything that is step, that is bad. And yet again, we have those that are functioning and are happy. So why the word blended? Or is it just a prefix?
It's palatable.
Yes.
Some would argue and say blended is only applicable to a type of family where both the adults have kids.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have both step parents.
Yes. Yeah.
However, today it's used across any relationship where one or both of you have a child or children from previous relationships is a blended family.
Yes.
A blended family is more palatable than step family.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Because there's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of stereotype, negative stereotype around step, the word step.
That's true.
Yes. And you know, even in those books, they never had, they lived happily thereafter.
There's no, yes, the stepmother.
For step, they never got it.
Yeah.
So we had a very bad taste in our tongue, or a
Yes.
bad thought that the word stepmother would or stepfather would always come with something.
Yes.
What has been your journey to getting into a blended family?
First, the stereotypes are still there.
Yes.
It's with time, I think for now we are embracing it. And like you mentioned it, more and more children today are going to be raised in blended families than even these other families.
Yeah.
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 I have been in a step family for the last 20 years.
Wow.
I am a step mom of 2. I am a bio mom of 2.
Wow.
And I am a guardian mom of 1.
Wow.
So
So
I
I,
call
wow.
myself
You're
a mom of
5.
different shades.
Yes.
Wow.
You're definitely very blended. Huh?
Yeah.
she's the true definition
The
of
true
blended.
definition.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Now, can I just say, firstly, my mom is a big fan. So when I told her that you're coming on the show, she said, please tell her, make sure you shout me out.
And today's Thursday.
And today's
Shout out
Thursday.
to your mama.
Yes, so my mom has a big shout out for you.
Humbled.
She watches you everywhere. So I think something that I've noticed is the concept of being a blended family versus a step family can sometimes be interchanged.
Yes.
Is there a distinct difference between being a blended family as opposed to being a step family? Because I think the dynamics can sometimes be a bit blended.
Today, the word blended is used across. So at times we talk about step families, but it's blended.
Right. So
Yeah.
sort of an umbrella term.
Yes, it is an umbrella term. That is why I'm saying any family where one or both of us have children from previous relationships, we are step or we are blended.
Blended,
So
right.
it's used interchangeably.
Right.
Yeah. Though before this, there are psychologists who still think the term blended should be used in the families where both adults
Have
step.
kids.
Yes, but today it's used interchangeably.
Yes.
Yeah. And also there are psychologists, which I agree, who think the word blended is a lie.
Why?
Okay.
Because you know when we blend a mango, you know how easy it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now
You
we're two
think-
different people.
You think you'll just put it and blend.
Yes.
So
Become
people
as a
think
smoothie.
blended is going to be a smoothie. But in blended families, that is not what happens. It takes about 4 to 7 years of work for a family to
You're
behave as a
discouraging me
unit.
right now.
Not really.
You see there, I'm in awe. So I'm like, what?
For you now to function as a whole.
Yes.
As a unit. Yeah. Some, if you don't do the work, you don't get to blend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And just because we are saying it's blended doesn't mean it will be as smooth as a mango juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some carrots, you know, if
There's
you blend
certain,
a carrot.
yes.
There's some.
There's some
There are-
grains.
Yes.
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 But what are the challenges that you have faced as Jackie in this particular journey of having a blended family? You've been there for 20 years.
Yes.
When did you feel that it worked? Did you have to take the 4-year journey, the 6-year journey? How was your journey? When did you feel like this can work? Or for you, it was one of those smooth things that you entered, then you had your stay, then it worked.
I knew it could work, but it was difficult. And it was lonely. Because you can't talk about it.
Why?
The stigma. I also read Cinderella.
You know what? That's what I was thinking.
We start blaming other people for stereotyping us, but we are also stereotyping ourselves. We were socialized in this same society.
Okay.
Yes.
So you also stereotype yourself. You self-stigmatize.
Yes.
And for me, that is why I had to come up with a place that is safe for people in step families to come and speak, because I know the loneliness of it.
Yes.
I couldn't talk about the challenges that I'm going through with my kids, with my stepkids, because I stigmatized myself. And I knew the first thing you'd tell me is, but she's a stepmother. She's just complaining.
You
didn't
It's
know?
not real.
Or you didn't
Yeah,
know.
kwani hakujua?
Yeah.
So you wanted it. So you can't even talk about the issues that you're going through. So it was lonely,
Yes.
but I knew it could work.
Okay.
So I read a lot about step families. I researched about blended families and the resources.
And you were
As
doing
so
this
few.
while you're still in the
Yes.
in this family.
Of course, when you get in the first time, you don't research because you think your love is so strong it can withstand
withstand
anything.
We always
anything.
believe love can conquer all.
Yeah. What did your parents say? Your
Of course,
family?
they
At the
didn't-
beginning?
They didn't understand why I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
Because remember, I did not have kids.
Yes.
Oh, it's your
Yes.
spouse who had
Yes.
kids. How old were they? If you
They were toddlers.
Okay.
So
I
that
see.
is also a different journey.
Yeah.
Understanding that is maybe easier journey
For
than
some,
when they're teenagers.
Yes.
Then when they can speak, wow, man can speak. I have a problem.
Yeah. And please note she's saying easy with air quotes.
Yes,
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 yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What did your family say specifically?
I think they just didn't understand why I'm making that decision. Am I sure I'm making the correct
they discourage
decision?
you?
Yes, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Subtle.
Okay.
Yeah, are you sure?
Yeah.
Every time, I mean, we would talk about the same thing. I would assure them today and assure them tomorrow because
Yeah.
they're still asking if I'm still sure.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I totally get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not because they hate the person you're getting married to. I think it's because they know it's difficult.
It's
Or
difficult.
maybe there could be an
yeah.
element of concern. Will you
Yes.
manage? You're not even a
Yes.
mother.
Yeah,
And
you're
you're
not
taking
a
up a
mother.
role
Yeah.
of
Oh,
a
yes.
mother.
Zero experience.
Yeah.
When I come back on this particular break, or rather, I would just like to know, you as Jackie, did you ever feel that there is a challenge that you had, that you've taken the role of being a new mom? Was it an issue of them feeling that you're replacing their mom, or you just after the time that you'd been together, you just fit in properly? Was there an issue of that, like a biological mom and you?
No, there was no issue because I wasn't a replacement mom. I was. I did. How would I even know how to replace her?
Yes, yes.
I like the attitude that you have, that you're not a replacement, because
I
some of
really
us
didn't have
some of us end up saying that if I come in, I do not want to see Karigo in the picture. They tell their spouses that.
That is so unfortunate. You cannot replace DNA.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
You can't.
I like the way you're saying you cannot replace DNA, because I've
DNA.
always argued
And
with
the
people on that.
replacement at that time, if you want to replace the bio mother so much, it's like you want to erase that she exists, and you cannot. You're going to do that for the rest of your marriage. You're going to be so frustrated for the rest of your marriage. One of the things to make life in a step family, a blended family, easier for you, you have to accept my family is different.
I have to accept my family is different.
It's different.
And how different is different, in your words?
Different is I am a mother, but at times I'm not a mother.
What?
Interesting. Okay.
What do you
I'm
mean?
a mother, and at times I'm not a
I'm
mother.
not a mother.
But
So-
you're still a mom.
In the sense that I'm their mother, but sometimes I might not be their mother.
I don't have the whole package of motherhood.
So are
But
they?
I will do everything that a mother does. But
Okay.
I may not get all the perks that a mother gets.
The rewards.
Yes.
I see.
And when it comes to issues like maybe discipline,
Yes.
would you say you were able to do that freely?
I was, because maybe they were younger.
Yes.
But you see, with time, I took it upon myself to read and just learn about life in a blended family. Discipline is one of the most challenging things in blended families. For me, maybe it worked. With some mistakes, I got my balance. But as a blended family coach, I should tell others what to do now that I know. You can't correct before you connect.
Jackie Care says you cannot connect before you correct.
Fanya-
The other way around. You cannot correct before you connect.
Connect.
Am I saying
Yes.
yes?
Yes.
Jackie Care says you cannot correct before you connect. The conversation is how to build a successful blended families. I know you're listening out there and you might be in a similar situation, or you're thinking that I would want to test the waters. If you have a question for Jackie, plug into our social media handles, Spice FM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And more so, just take your phone, take your gadget, or take your smart TV and dial www.spicefm.co.ke. I want you to see Jackie yani face to face and hear it from the horse's mouth. Searching for a real radio station, it's us. Spice FM, and the show is always the artists in the room. Real, authentic conversations. Conversation that affect you and me. Conversation that some of us, me, I'm feeling like it's personal today. If you join the conversation, we are the adults in the room. And as I said, the station is Spice FM. The show is the adults in the room. It's exactly 23 minutes past 8 o'clock. Today we have a guest. And our conversation is very mature. Hakuna utoto leo. Mchezo hapana. We're talking about how to build a successful blended family. And the conversation is with a life coach, a psychologist by the name Jackie Care. And not someone who doesn't understand what it means to be in a blended family. She's actually a mother of 5, and she wears 3 different hats, from having bio children, from being an adoptive mom, and also from being a mom of a blended family. Karigo, what was your question?
So before we went on the break, we were talking about discipline. And you said that before you correct, you must connect. So how do you establish which role each parent plays?
And how do you connect?
Yeah.
Okay.
So before you establish the role, how do you connect to then now move into correct, which is played individually by each parent?
Okay.
So take us through that process.
I feel like those are 2 questions.
Yes, they are.
Accurate. These women are in an age where we might find ourselves in such a scenario.
Right.
Not just 2 questions, 2 different aspects of a blended family.
Yes.
Yes. So, the role. What is my role? What is your role?
Yes.
One of the things that we don't do, especially when we are getting into blended families, we don't talk about the roles and expectations.
Okay.
That's true.
So one of the things, and that is a whole topic altogether. So expectations, unmet expectations, uncommunicated expectations. You know, you make an assumption. Because I have a girl, I'm a single mom, when I marry him, he is a man, he's supposed to take over all responsibility.
We assume that.
We don't talk about it.
Yes.
When he says I'll not pay school fees, we think he's a bad guy. But we didn't talk about it. So there's an assumed expectations, uncommunicated expectations, and then unmet communication expectations. These ones were spoken, were promised, but are not. Yes. So one of the things that you have to do as a couple, or somebody who is about to get into a blended family, you have to prepare for step family living. And talk about expectations.
Jackie, do you
Talk
know,
about roles.
I'm wondering, I used to assume that if I decided to get into a relationship with Arnold and he has children and I have children, that automatically we take up certain roles automatically.
Yes.
Now you're talking about issues of expectations.
Yes.
So we need to have those conversations that will you take up these roles or will you not take up this?
Yes.
Okay.
Issues of discipline.
That's not a bit...
It sounds
also a bit unfair.
But what you're saying makes sense, though. I mean, surely these are conversations you have to have
Yeah.
if
No,
you're
No, but
choosing to
if
bring a
you're
family
marrying
together.
me and all,
I'm coming with this
and
package
I'm
of
coming with my baby. I mean, excuse me, you should be marrying me and my child, and like, duh.
Of course.
You should be providing. Like, should we have a conversation
Yes, we
about
should,
paying
of
school
course.
fees?
Yes.
I think you should.
Why?
Why is it that if you tell Arnold, my father's child does school fees, is he supposed to tell you to stop him from paying school fees so that he can pay school fees?
No, he's
That's
not.
a good point. Yes.
But
But
what
if
is
you
wrong
don't-
with that? If maybe that's what makes him feel like.
So what happens? Will you tell the biological father, now I'm married, I've gotten somebody else to pay school fees for your daughter, kindly stop?
Especially if he's one who's actually wants to pay.
Because
He's
they are
intentional.
they are fathers. who are responsible and still take care of their children even after separation.
That's true. And
I agree.
Because parenthood does not
Stop
end.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens at that time? The guy should accept that
How about a 50-50 scenario?
that they share. You talk
So
to
that
your,
both dads feel like they're involved.
So you talk to your the
Guy,
bio parent,
my man's.
and you talk to the bio parent and tell
Yes.
him,
Yeah.
now I want you to share 50-50 school fees with
Yeah,
my husband.
I'm trying
Jackie, if you say it like that, it sounds bad.
But
I'm
you
trying
see-
to think of a, I'm
Yes.
trying to think of a scenario whereby, like, there are these men who, they just want to take charge and they acknowledge and recognize the biological father, but they're like, yo, I want to do this. Okay, so can I do it this semester or this year? And then he does it next year or this term, next term,
But you
or,
see-
or do we just say fine, or do we just agree to disagree and say, okay, now?
But you see, I think my
Because
opinion
I'm
is-
like,
my opinion is if you're a guy who would naturally take charge, I think you also have the mindset to know that if I'm going to take charge, I have to keep in mind that there is somebody else.
Perfect.
There's
Yes.
another person in this conversation that I have to involve.
Perfect.
And therefore, I can't just assume the role without having an honest conversation and setting the right expectations.
Yeah.
Jackie,
and there are other things that your child needs.
Yes.
It doesn't have that to show that he is involved with his school fees.
yeah,
There are other things.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jackie, how do
So
you strike
they,
the
they-
balance?
They really don't need to fight
over it?
over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So communication, expectations, you have to talk about it.
Yes.
The roles, you have to talk about roles. When a man who is a single father marries a woman and the first you get married to him and they believe you are a woman, so you have motherness in you.
Motherly love.
And you're not sure if you have.
Right.
Yeah, they assume you should know motherness. So what do? Every evening now, he doesn't come home direct from work.
Because he has a-
PTS, you have womanness, you'll take care of my
And they have a
motherness."
new wife.
Yes, and they'll take care of my kids. So they don't even transition into the motherhood. And remember, these mothers do not have a relationship with these kids.
Yes.
But you're expecting, because she's a woman, she has motherness. She will know what to do. You get?
Yes.
So one of the things also is the roles. As a mother, I am coming in as a stepmother. Where do I begin? Where do I end? What are the things that you're expecting from me? Are you expecting that when I get there, I am totally going to be a mother and do everything? You might not be able to do everything because you don't have a relationship with these kids. There are no instant parents. Even the bio parents are given 9 months before they meet them.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
I want us to, when we come back, we talk about this issue of relationship and connection. More so when I'm coming in either as a new mom or a new father, because it will be either or.
Yes.
And you're a parent who is like, you know what, maybe I don't have children or I have a children of my own. Should we cultivate a relationship before the marriage, or should it be something you'll have to do it on the end? When we come back, we're talking to Jackie KR, pardon me for that. How to build a successfully blended family. Are you having problems? Ama, are you interested in doing it? Plug in. Time as adults, some of us have thought that stepmothers and stepfathers are the cruel ones. Today we want to demystify that notion. Today we want to have a conversation where we just open up and unwrap these masks that cover blended families. And our question today is how to build a successful blended family. And we're having this conversation with a psychologist, a life coach called Jackie KR, a woman who's walked this journey, and she can testify that it is working. Mazia Karigo, it works. Before we went on the break, we were talking about issues of expectation. And even when we were on the break amongst ourselves, this expectation was a heated argument or a heated conversation. And for me, I learned something that, hey, if you want to get into a relationship with someone, you need to have that conversation of expectations. I was coming from a place where I assumed that there are certain responsibilities you automatically take in with your husband or a father. But I'm learning that be open enough to share that conversation. Now, I'll want to ask, when we're talking about issues of expectation, and then we have a scenario where maybe I will have bio children into the relationship, or both of us are coming with different children. And this other one, my children have a father called Arnold, and he pays their school fees. Now, if Arnold maybe has means and resources and pays maybe for a higher school or a lower school than what this other current husband is paying, don't you think that will be a drift within the family? So how do you manage to actually balance issues of blended family and children and their bio parents?
Okay. That sounds more of co-parenting dilemma.
Not a blended one.
It's blended, part of blended, and not your husband, your current husband's
It's
issue.
not a challenge on blended families, because
It is a
co-parenting
challenge.
also comes. Bio parents bring issues to blended families.
Yes, it is a challenge. However, please know that your ex is a parent.
Yes.
He's not an ex-parent like ex or husband. There are no ex-parents, there are no ex-kids.
That's true.
Yes. So even the change of school for your son or for your daughter with him, you may need to discuss with him.
Not this other person.
Not this one more.
Ay,
If
Jackie, but this is
person-
my husband.
This
My
is
new
your
husband.
Yes, this is your husband, but the other one is a parent.
Is the
you know, there's
parent.
a ship that is called relationship that sank.
Yes.
Wow.
Now the ship that we are keeping afloat is parentship.
Not the relationship.
No, the relationship is here. This one is your husband, but you have a parentship with somebody else, especially if they're involved. There are some who sink both ships,
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Many people tend to do that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
unfortunately. But there are some who know that the relationship is sunk and now we have a parentship. So changing schools, if that other parent is involved in their children's life, you may need to talk to them and see what it feels, what their take is. Yeah. But it can't be, now that I have gotten a rich husband,
Because we are looking for those ones.
now
Can you go and die on that?
tumeomoka sasa.
Tumeomoka, tunaacha
Yes.
Arnold. So
Yes.
we need to have the conversation of involving the bio parent, and the parentship has not sailed. It's only the relationship that has sailed.
Has sunk.
Has sunk.
Has
Yes.
sunk,
Yes.
Now,
What-
sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, okay.
You go.
Now, speaking of the other person, the new person in the relationship that is now married to, let's say in this case, Barbara, there's naturally, and I'm going to speak for men, because I think there's this stigma that if I'm a man, that I can't marry a woman with children, or there's that stigma around women who have children already. Why do you think this stigma exists, particularly here in Kenya? Where do you think that stigma really comes from? This idea that I can't be with somebody who has children, or there's difficulty that comes with that that space?
I think it's socialization. Socialization mostly, but also as a society and our way of life. If you are a single mother with a daughter, you're marriageable than a single mother with a son.
A
Yes.
son.
Yeah, I hear
So
my
it is
friends saying that.
socialization.
Really?
Yes.
They say the
Wow.
son will go
This
back to
son
the
is
father.
not mine, and will they want to inherit my land too? You know,
And girls will get
see.
married.
yeah, girls can get married.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
They'll go off and build
But a
their
son,
own
it can
family.
also just make the situation more difficult. So it is socialization, one. But second, I don't think, Barbara, you should be mad because somebody said, I don't want to marry a woman with a child. Why does it make you mad?
It shouldn't. That's their preference.
Yes. If today you bring fruits here, you're going to choose your favorite fruit.
Exactly.
That's
You're
a
going
good
to
point.
choose an orange.
Yes.
Is the mango going to feel bad?
No,
No.
that's true.
Because the mango knows there's someone
Somebody
who likes
else will
me.
like a mango.
Yes.
So as women, let's stop stigmatizing ourselves. Single mothers, don't stigmatize yourself. Allow that man to make his choice. If he can't do kids, he can't do kids.
Yes.
If he can't do a woman with kids, he can't. And he is a better man than the one who pretends
That he
they
can.
love your kids and they frustrate your kids in the entire marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're better off with the one who says, enyewe mimi hapa siwezi. Siwezi
Yes.
make.
He's open.
Yeah, that's a better man.
And when it comes to connection, do you think that the connection should be done when it comes with children before we get married? And should the connection be something that you know that this can work? Because I hear some of my friends who are trying blended families. They tell you, I met those children, God, they hate me. And now I'm wondering, am I supposed to encourage them? Or, I don't know what to tell them. So I just give them a hug. I'm like, let's have cocktails. It will be better. Things, like I'm wondering, because I don't know if these children will ever change their mind. And she's wondering that, is this a journey I want to take? So does that connection have to start early? And if it fails, do you just still keep on going and hoping for the best?
I think it has to start early. I think it has to start early. One of the things that I have to say in the African society, most kids wake up and find themselves stepkids.
Yes, we're never consulted.
No, we are never prepared for it. So it needs to start early. Prepare your child for the step family. If you have somebody who is significant in your life and you know it's leading to marriage, please ensure it is something that is significant. You don't introduce your kids to situationships, entanglement. I mean, any man that comes into your house or any
The
woman.
John, James,
Yes.
Arnold, Peter, everyone. Yeah.
Yes. So if you know it is a relationship that is going to get into marriage, start having conversations with your child. Prepare your child for a step family. And during this time, let him or her say his concerns or her concerns, her fears, reassure them. The questions that he has or she has.
Yeah.
So that means as a single mother, you should also have created a safe environment with your child, an environment that they are able to speak to you, so that you can converse about these things. Now, with time, they can meet this significant person, not in your house. Your house is the safe space for your child.
Yes.
In a public space.
Very important.
In a public space where the child can relax, he can go play and you can sit down. And expectations. Don't have a lot of expectations.
Now again, we don't have a
immediately,
lot.
yes. It was just high. They just came and met high.
Yes.
But you don't get out of that date and start saying, kwa nini kucheza na mtoto wangu sana? Niliona ni kama upendi mtoto.
I think I can be one of those people.
Because of expectations.
Because
that
you
makes sense.
Your antennas are just the first day and you want fireworks or you want to see, is it right or it's not right? Relationships take time.
Yeah.
Even your friends, it took time to build it.
Yes.
I don't know why you'd expect that man or woman to immediately have a relationship with your child, or your child to immediately connect with this man that you're seeing or this woman that you're seeing. And remember, this man that you're seeing or the woman, you courted them, you dated them.
Yes.
Your child has not even had an opportunity to do that either.
Wow.
So you can't be seated there with so much expectations and hawk eyeing and seeing, sikuona kama ulikuwa unacheka na mtoto wangu, do you really love my child? Do you really like my child?
If you join the conversation, we're talking to Jackie Kea, a life coach and a psychologist. The conversation is how to build a successful blended family. She says it took time for you and this particular man and woman to court. So why do you expect the same to be different from your child? Give your child time. Give your new partner time to blend in and to connect with your child. I have solutions for you. I have Jackie Kea, a psychologist and a life coach, who is sharing and giving us gems and opening my eyes to certain things that I personally did not know. We are having a conversation of how to build a successful blended family. If you have any questions for her, you can plug into her social media handles, SpiceFMKE, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also from 9 o'clock, we shall be picking up some of your calls. And just if you have anything you want to open your heart or you want clarity on, because yes, all of us are getting a lot of clarity today.
Yeah.
Yes, you just call in and you'll be able to talk to her. Before we went to the break, Jackie, we were talking about issues of rejection with the new partner when it comes to blended family. How does one handle that?
One of the things that I think what I say will sound bad, but it's the truth. If you're a step parent, rejection comes with the role.
It comes with?
With the role.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we
Part
need
of
to
the
expect
territory.
that
Yes.
is now one
Expect it.
thing to expect.
Yes, expect it.
Yes.
Yes. It's not personal.
Yes.
Those kids don't hate you or are not, they don't hate you. They're not rejecting you because they know you and they hate you. It could have been Jackie, it could have been Jen, it could have been any other name, but it's not my mother. Kids always wish that their parents would come back together. When your parent remarries, it is the nail on the coffin of that dream that you've been wondering. Now these people are
Yes. I saw that.
actually,
Yeah, I
They're
actually
done.
saw that.
actually,
Yeah.
it's
I
done.
saw that
Yes.
with my daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you find that they're step parents, step mothers who, when they're dating and with this man, the kids are good because it is dating. And then the date of Rurasho comes.
Yes. And now life is changing.
Oh, yes. And now they realize, really, this was serious. She's actually coming to our lives. So change is difficult. Those kids are going through change. They're going through fears. They also read Cinderella.
Yes.
They need reassurance. They need time to also catch up with this family.
Yeah.
It's not rejection because it is personal. It is because it is the process. So one of the things as a couple, you have to, don't forget your kids. Don't forget to support your child just because you've gotten a husband or you've gotten a wife. Talk about her fears or his fears, their concerns, reassure them. And with time, they will create that relationship. Yeah.
So the idea is just be patient and give it time.
Yes. And listen to them.
Okay.
And talk to them and create a safe environment at home. That is why you don't marry a wife and then decide, I will leave her at home with my kids, and they're all new.
And they hardly know each other.
Yes. The only person, the bond between the step kids and the step parent is the bio parent.
Yes.
Yes.
So
Definitely.
the bio parent needs to be there and help the kids transition.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a problem most of us don't do, but I like that part. You need to be present, especially if you are the bio parent when you have blended families. Karigo, what do you have?
So you mentioned earlier when we began that it takes about 7 years to actually fit in and be like, okay, now it's working. Adjustment, adaptability, etc.
Yes.
So in those 7 years, what happens with conflict and disagreements? Because generally these are two aspects that always happen in a family that's growing.
Yeah.
What should people do during conflict and disagreements?
Okay, it takes between 4 to 7 years. The people who work well, and also the age of the kids also determines how soon it takes. It is easier to form bonds and connect with younger kids because younger kids, toddlers, just need nurturing. Yes, and it is easy to nurture them. But the older the kids, the more difficult it is to make connections because as a step parent, when you get into a step family with older kids, your role might be totally different. They might not be expecting a mother from you.
They've survived maybe without one.
Or they know theirs
they-
and they have a
yes.
relationship. And all you need to do is to accept and let them know you're not here to mother them. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But I want to be a mother. How do you tell me I don't want to mother them? You
Yeah,
don't
that's
find-
that,
I
that's
want to be a
a,
mother. Jackie, I want to be a mother to these children. So when you say I'm not here to mother them, how do I take a balance of that?
Yeah.
You're here to be a guide, a coach, a sounding board. I am here. I'll support you in your life, but I am not going to be like a mother.
So I
That
should be
space,
ready to say that to
space
these
for
children.
you, or just act it. And at times, let the stepchild lead. Yeah. See what doors they're opening for you instead of going there with a bulldozer.
So I have a plan. I have read a book.
So you as the stepmom need to go in knowing that first and foremost, I'm not this child's mother.
No.
But that's painful. I don't know why I'm feeling pain. I've been
I
thinking
get
that I
it.
need to go there with open arms.
But I think
And
I
in
think
fact,
I think you can distinguish between being a nurturer and someone who guides,
Yes.
as opposed to taking on the role of I am now your new mother. Because I think, as you've said, you can never replace DNA.
Yes.
So it's a matter of shifting the mindset to say that I know that I can't be your biological mother, and I might not ever be able to play that role. But I want you to think of me as somebody that you can come to for support, for guidance, and direction.
Like a
Yeah.
bestie.
And in case I'm just no. It's like another bonus significant adult. I am just a bonus mother.
Okay.
I am a bonus.
Then my question would be, now we've established that, but how do you now instill authority? How is it that when you say something, they listen, they hear?
You want to bully people's kids.
So what happens?
Excuse me, I'm
I
the
get
adult
you.
here. They are the
Yes.
child.
Now what
So
you
you
need
see,
to
and
do-
you see already saying that usiende ukijua wewe ni mama yake, first and foremost. Number 2, let them lead and you follow. But then now we come into disagreements and conflict. How do we ensure that, my authority, my word is now the last word? Because I'm like, how do you meet that balance? You get what I'm
I
saying?
get what you're saying. I would reward it if you want your authority to be the last word, or
She
your
loves
word to be
authority, by the way.
that's not authority, that's control.
Actually, that's the word. She loves control.
And she said it herself.
She loves a lot of
So
control.
I get what you're saying, but we're not looking for
You're a
control. See, yeah?
therapist. I've accepted.
Jackie, I want you to answer that question. So we
Let
do
me-
have
yeah.
a lot of time because I need to go for a small break. If
Okay.
you're joining the conversation, we are here talking about how to build a successful blended family. We're having a conversation with Jackie KR. She's a therapist, a life coach, someone who's actually walked the journey. She's actually enlightening us and opening our eyes to issues of expectations, issues of connections, issues of love, that it is not enough to just love someone. I'd like you to plug into this conversation through our social media handles, Spice FM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Remember, we also have an SMS code that is 40127. When we come back, she'll be answering Karigo's question. Karigo's question, she wants control. Karigo wants to stamp authority. Is it right or is it wrong? Very good evening to you, my darlings. It's exactly 9 o'clock. The station is Spice FM. The show is The Adults in the Room. Today we're having a conversation with a life coach, a psychologist who Atasha analyzes rafiki yangu hapa. I'm always telling her she has control issues. She never believes me, but today it has come from a psychologist.
Exposed.
She just ona vile anaji-expose. Anyway, we're talking about how to build a successful blended family. Before we went on a break, we were talking about issues of control, where one parent, more so the new parent in the picture, would want to have some control over the children, or issue of stamping their authority. How does one deal with that, Jackie?
Okay. So I think your question was around how do we make it function even when we have
Conflict and
disagreement.
Yes.
And that is why maybe the word successful blended family is not a good one.
Karigo is not getting how is successful.
because,
becoming a success.
because when we say successful, you know,
needs
it's
to
like
work.
number 8, it's number 1, you know,
Yes.
perfect.
It needs to be on
So
top.
we are looking for functioning blended families. A functioning relationship has conflict.
Yes.
Yes, but you see, when we put successful, we think it doesn't. It has conflict. The issues of blended families, by the way, the relationships, the things they need in a relationship are the things that any other relationship needs. It's not that they are so special, they need something different.
Yes.
So communication, just the way what works in other marriages also work here. But first of all, what I would advise is prepare for step family. Talk about expectations, the values. What do we have? What are the dreams we have for the kids that we are going to raise?
Yes.
Whether step or
Bio.
bio. What are our expectations?
Yes.
Yeah. What kind of kids do we want to raise? What
Yes.
are the values do we want to instill on these kids? What are the basic rules of the house that we want in
Who
our
comes
house?
up with the rules? Both of you?
Both
or-
of you.
Okay.
Then we go and call our kids, all of them, and sit down and talk about the basic rules of our house. The bio parent should be
Stop
reading them.
controlling.
No. No, you see, I'm seeing progress. I'm seeing
So the
like,
bio
okay, it
parent should be
happens.
reading this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that it does not look like
It is
the new
stepmom's,
person
stepmom's rules.
who's bringing these ideas.
Yes. And if you have older kids who can speak, you ask them, what other rules do we need to put in place so that our life in this house can be better? And they can contribute. Then, what are the consequences if I break the rules of the house?
So you don't seek their opinion, you ask them to contribute.
Yes.
You see?
But if they have an opinion, you can listen.
I'm not refusing.
But I can tell you how it will turn out.
Exactly.
tell
I'm
you how
like,
that will turn
no,
Exactly.
you better not say anything.
Okay. So, what are the consequences
Yes.
if somebody breaks the basic rules of the house? And the consequences are discussed when everybody is listening. So, if daddy is not there and I instill the consequence, it's not mine.
It is what we agreed.
Yeah. And please, it doesn't have to be kenning. Why we think discipline is kenning, synonymous to kenning.
African.
Yes.
No, there are other ways you can use to instill discipline. You can take away something, you will lose this priority, you will do everything. It doesn't have to be kenning. Yes.
Wow.
When it comes to issues, I like the part of you're talking about rejection and
Yes.
issues of discipline. In your journey, did you ever felt that because yes, you had a connection with the bio parent and the children, did you ever feel like the other parent, now their bio parent who was not in the picture, wanted to be part of this process? Do you have to involve them?
Which process of the discipline?
Yes, like your rules or rules of engagement, because you remember you told me not to forget there's another parent if the other parent is present. So when we're making our rules for our blended family, do we always consider the other bio parent?
Not really. However, if you lived together for some time, you may be coming with values from that you started
Yes,
with them.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
And values are good. Whoever
Yeah.
is saying them. If the other guy has good values, those are the values that we want to instill. This was the dream of our kids.
Yes.
Values are agreeable. Now, one of the things that maybe is so difficult is instilling the same consequences in both houses
Yes.
Yes,
for the
I'd say
child,
that.
so that the child does not get confused. Because remember, the people who move houses from one house to another is the child. It's not you guys who left each
Exactly.
other. Yes. So
There they sleep at 11. Our house we sleep at
Yes.
8:30 on a school
Yes.
day.
when you get parents who divorced but are evolved, very few of us are evolved or civilized to that extent.
I agree. I'm
Some
the
parents-
uncivilized one. I take that, yeah. There are
So
things I don't
some
do.
evolved parents actually consider the kid moves from one house to another and decide that there's some basic routines that we can keep for this child so that they're not so confused. Yes. However, if the other parent cannot be that evolved with you, you cannot control your house and then control his house or
Yes.
her house. So you only have control over your house. Unless your child is being taught things that are so contrary, or she's in danger, he's in danger. Otherwise, you have no control over the other house.
Yeah.
Yes.
I get that. When it comes to issues of expectation and more so issues of discipline and rules, would you say that even despite when we put our children, like, of course, you've told us to engage the children, there are certain conflicts I feel that they could come that someone would feel like, more so if I come with my kids and your kids, that they're not being given the same attention. Is it that something is in your head, or are those are rules you also have to put on the table? Because I've had people who say, I feel like he likes his children more than mine. People have such challenges. How do we resolve that?
He could be feeling that, or he could be,
Or she.
or she could be feeling that. But is he treating my kids different than his? Of course, the connection the bio parent has with their children is totally different than the connection
Yeah.
that a step parent has with
Because
their
you're the
children.
bonus parent.
Yes. So the connection, yes, could be different, but love is a verb.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a doing word.
It really,
Yes.
really is.
Yes.
So do I need to connect with the other parent?
Yeah.
Like a who?
Like,
Step parent.
yes. No, I'm married to him and you're the bio parents to his children. Then because we're easy, do I need to connect with you so that I can connect with my children?
With his ex.
Yes. Like, do I need to connect with his ex-wife? So
in-
that we
in
can
the
connect.
In the event that me and Barbara are married and I have a child with you,
Yes.
do the two women now have to become friends because we're now raising these children? Is that a must? Is
It's
that
not a
connection
must.
necessary?
But is
It's
it
not a
necessary?
must. It's
Is
not
it
necessary.
advisable?
It's not necessary, but the ones who are evolved. Wale wako na zen.
Sina zen. I need zen. I need zen.
Yes.
Wewe bado unaweza lipuka.
they can go to the zen zone.
Yes.
Unaweza lipuka.
Hata moto ikichomeka kwa that one. If you can do that,
Yes.
the ones who have managed to do that, it is good and beneficial for the children.
Is it
Yes.
something you encourage?
Not really. Not really. What I don't encourage is fights, conflict,
Openly or behind the scenes?
openly.
Or behind the
Mostly
scenes, it's fine.
It's fine, but also as a step parent, know your boundaries. You can't fix what you didn't break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because he has conflict with his ex, you cannot say, mi nitakuonyesha vile tutamkomesha.
Nitakushomea tutadu.
Kina Karigo have solutions for such
Yes. I'll be
Women
like,
like
babe, I got you.
Yes.
It's not your war.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not your war. So you should know where you begin and where you end.
Yeah.
Yeah. He owes you to go and do that. he needs to go and do
So
that.
it is him to do it.
It is him to go in. It is his fight.
Not me to get involved.
Yes. That we examine to
Ladies, are you hearing
Eh?
yourselves wherever you are? Kenyan women have that bad habit of getting involved in things they were not involved
So, yeah.
Would you advise for kids, the kids now in these blended families from both families to bond? And if you would, are there activities like in your scenario, in your example, in your life, in your experience, when you are bringing up now the kids, did you used to have like vacations, activities? We usually see on social media.
Those ones are liars.
People in the West in blended families, like they go for vacation, all of them together. When they're doing activities, they do activities together so that the kids can bond.
Or because
Is it
they
advisable?
do activities with the kids and their exes.
Yes.
That
Both, all
also
families come
yes.
together.
Takes Zen.
They do that. That is the Zen,
Zen.
moments.
Yeah.
Those are the Zen people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have evolved and transited emotions and fights and everything and
Yeah.
healed, you can do that.
But my question is it advisable for the kids to bond as kids? You know,
To see you bond.
Yeah, not even that. You see both. You see you and Arnold are married, and he's my ex. You guys now have kids. Me, I'm married now. I have kids, and we are raising our kids. You're raising our kids, and then we decide for the kids to have a connection. We be doing like every quarter a family getaway for bonding, for getting to know each other. I've seen families do this,
Yes,
and
yes.
it works. But for some, many, it doesn't work. And if it does work, is it in terms of patience? Is it advisable? Is it something that you would say,
For
if
the
it
record,
doesn't,
I think it's
careful.
madness.
if it
just
doesn't
for the
flow
record.
in, you
If-
can force issues.
And that is why I'd still go back to the same sentence. If you have transited the negativity,
Yeah.
if you can be civil with each other, if you've created that space, you can add that. If you haven't, I don't know, why would you go to holiday to fight as parents
And
and
it doesn't
exes?
mean, it doesn't make you less
no.
of a caring
No,
parent
it doesn't.
or a loving.
It doesn't.
You know, because
It's
now you
just
can start
that
judging yourself.
The environment, if all of us go with all our kids and everything, that environment is going to be more toxic to our kids than helpful.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to gauge that. Do you have that relationship? Have you created it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, I've healed, but I'll still not just go. I am that
And you have not healed.
because I don't
Then you have
understand.
not healed
No. I don't understand what you're doing in the same space. I am not that Zen person.
Right.
I know myself.
But I think
All right.
I'm like, why am I wasting my money?
But you
Can
see,
I
it's
call
for the
my
kids.
girlfriends or my father and my mother? We go on a holiday.
But it's for the
Right.
kids to know each other, to get to hang out, to get to understand each other.
they can do that in your house on your
personal-
budget, not mine. Not mine. Really? To be very honest, I am one of those people who feel like if I cut ties, I cut ties. And I like what she said, that I have separated the relationship
Yeah.
to the parentship.
Yeah.
I will make sure the parentship is risen high. It is working, it is cordial, and it's best. And we can even be in one room, but the relationship or any form of ship that will make me look at you and spend hours with you, I'm not giving you that airtime. That ship sailed, or rather it
Yes,
sank.
yes.
Now, another thing I have when it comes to blended families, how do we manage finances when it comes to blended families? There's something to talk about expectations. Now, maybe you come into the picture, you don't have any children, or you have one. I have 3. Now, this expectation of, finances are tricky.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that because you're assuming that I'm the man, because that's the biggest assumption I see a lot of single women have, that I have learned today. Don't assume the man will take up all the role. Is it something that I need to know that even if I'm still in that relationship, I need to be taking care of my 3 children and he has 1, or everyone takes care of their own? How do we sort out issues of finances?
You talk about it before you get into it.
Why can't he just be a man?
That is what defines a man.
Provide,
Yes.
protect, profess.
The
You
5
see,
P's.
But there's nuances, surely. There's
Be the
nuances.
priest.
And
You're the
by
priest in this
if you talk
family,
about
we
it, who
pray.
says he'll say no? You better talk about it.
So
Let
that
him
I-
say no.
So that I don't get shocked.
Yes.
So now we'll be together in the relationship, in the marriage, and I'm struggling to pay for my child, and it's just there. Hey.
If that is not your cup of tea, you'll say no.
That's it.
You see, it also gives you an opportunity to choose.
That's it.
Yeah.
What
Why are
if
you
they
feeling
say-
like you don't have that chance?
No, it's true.
Very
You
important
can
you've
articulate
said that.
your views, and he can articulate your views.
Yes.
Now, what if we have a difference of opinion when we're in this expectation stage?
What can you compromise on?
Oh, I almost said, are we going to
This is-
split up?
So this is I honestly agree with this, because I think the nuances are what require conversation. The reason you have to have the conversation is because there might be situations where, like you said, maybe you have 3 children, I have 1, and we have to now bring our families together. And if we're not having those conversations, you might have expectations that I, as a man, should now embrace your children from the very beginning.
You mean you're just embracing me, but I understand.
No, but
Yeah.
but
It's
again, these-
painful. It's painful, but I've learned that today, that I need to have that
But you see,
conversation.
we've said these things take at least 4 years minimum. So even to get to a place where we understand the dynamic of this family and we can navigate these waters, you have to have conversations within those 4 years to get to a place of understanding.
Yeah.
Wow. If you join the conversation, we're talking about how to build, not successful now, functioning. Functioning blended family. That's what I'm learning today. Karigo, it's not successful, but
It
it's
is not
functioning.
successful. I
We've
agree.
opened up the lines. The number to call is 0719012600. We shall also be sampling some of your views on our social.
We
This is
have-
the
we
problem of
forgive
hanging
you.
around with people from Nyeri.
Don't blame me. You can't be blaming me for everything, Barbara.
From our social media handles, Spice FM KE, on all our social media platforms. Remember, we are talking about how to successfully build a blended family. I see your calls. I'll be picking them up after this short break. In the conversation, we are the adults in the room, and we're having a conversation how to build a successful and functional blended family. The conversation is with Jackie Kea, a psychologist and a life coach, and also she's someone who's walked this journey. Franklin, I've seen your call, and Dennis, I've seen your call. I'll be picking your calls very shortly. The number to call is 0719 012 Let me pick Franklin. He's been calling from 8:30. Franklin, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir. Habari ya wewe?
Good evening.
Good evening. Do you have a question for Jackie?
Salimia Mama Karicho.
Oh, God.
Hey, Mama Kiricho alisema yeye ni mama wa Haria. Hii jokes.
I keep telling you, it's the Harrier.
Auntie wa Haria.
No, I know. Karigo.
Yo.
Miss Karigo.
Yes.
Please, with all due respect, I don't disrespect you.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, with all due respect, once again, I love you too much.
Franklin, today we are having very serious conversation. Love ni ya kesho. Franklin, do you have any question for the guest?
Yeah, of course, yes.
Hey, and
Okay,
today you are
greetings
happy.
to Eunice, and then I'm going to call you back.
Yes, yeah, call me back,
Sure.
please. Yeah, call me back. Call me back, darling. Hello, Spice.
Hello?
How are you, sir?
Yes,
What is your name and where are you calling from?
I am Musa Peplada.
Hi, Musa. What are your thoughts about the conversation, or do you have a question for Jackie? Jackie, Musa, do me a favor. Reduce the volume of your radio or gadget. Yani punguza sauti. Because I need to hear you properly. You have a lot of feedback.
Yes,
Thank you.
I am aware.
I proceed.
Yes. Yes, my question is, my situation is that I am in my early 30s,
Yes.
not yet married, but most of the potential ladies I'm meeting, they have got 1 or 2 kids. So how can I get the courage to take the bold decision to marry someone who has got a kid or 2?
Okay.
Yes.
Thank
that's
you for
my-
that question,
my
sir.
question.
Jackie, issues of preference are going to come up, and I'm seeing her laughing. As Jackie is getting a moment, please read me the comment online. As Jackie is getting a moment.
So we have a
Do I
few,
even have an answer?
we have a few comments here. In fact, I see a really interesting one from Sammy Flocky on Facebook. He says, I have a question. I know a guy, a friend of mine, who found out that the children he calls his and has been taking care of for the last 8 years are not his biological children. He loves his wife and the children, But well, now in how is such a situation to be handled? Please give us a word on this. The do's and don'ts after having such a revelation.
Sasa hii si iko na cheating.
In fact, that's not.
That is blended.
He was conned into
To a
blended.
Into being blended.
Catfish. He was catfish. And
Yes.
To a blended
Which
one.
is so unfortunate.
Yes.
Yeah, so one of the things that he needs to do, and this is, I'm not even talking from a blended concept, it's just from psychology and mental health.
Yes.
One of the things that he needs to do is he ready to accept this woman who lied? Is he going to forget that he can be betrayed?
Yes.
He can be cheated. This woman can come and tell you these kids are yours for so many years, and he can keep this lie for so many years, 365 days, all
Times
that.
Yes, times
So
8.
is he going to forget that and forgive that?
Yes.
And forgiveness does not create relationships, does not mend relationships.
Yes, it's
At
not
times,
erasure.
yeah, sometimes you forgive and you let them go. Forgiveness is for your own sake.
Yes.
So yes, maybe he'll say, "I've forgiven," but forgiven does not mend relationships. Reconciliation mends relationship.
Yes.
You can forgive people who don't even know you've forgiven them,
Yes.
and it will
Yes.
work for you.
Yes,
Yes.
because you are now at peace.
Yes. So this relationship needs to be mended. Yeah. To be redefined, to come and fix and say the truth and then bury it. And that is reconciliation.
Yes.
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 I have a question. This might look like a private session today, but this is a question. Now, a lot of single women and men always say that if I want to move on and go into settling down into marriage with someone, I am better off looking for someone who has kids. And I sometimes feel like I subscribe to that notion. Is that something you'd recommend? That I'd rather get Arnold who has children than a James who doesn't? He won't get me. Is that something that you recommend for people who want to get into blended families?
No. Just because he has kids does not mean he's a good father.
Wow.
Just because he has kids, she has kids, it does not mean she's a good mother. How many of us are seated here with fathers that were never there, or mothers who are never there? Just having kids does not make me a good parent. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that cannot be the
gauge.
yeah, it cannot be the gauge. Yeah.
We need
So
to stop
one
it.
of the things that you have to be very careful about is don't just stop there. Does he have a relationship with his kids? Does she have a relationship with her kids? And how is she doing it? Is it just verbalization when we're having a drink and they tell me, "Oh, I love my kids.
You know,
Oh,
my
My kids are everything. They're everything
That's not
to
enough.
me."
Yes. Yes.
Does he or she are they in their kids' life? So just having a kids does not guarantee you that person will get you.
Or be a good father.
Oh yeah.
Thank you very much. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello, Barbara. Good evening from Naivasha.
Good evening, sir. Hey, thank you for making time to call us from Naivasha. Nishatoka Kisumu uko Naivasha. Sawa. What is your question, sir, to Jackie?
Okay, I've called severally.
Yes. Sorry, we've been on a conversation and the lines are actually jammed. But yes, I can see you
And
proceed.
the network here in Naivasha is not that good,
Okay.
but it's good that I find you guys.
What are your thoughts today?
I have some points to put across. My first point.
Yes.
Okay, my first point is it is good for the family to come up with a plan. This is a plan like how to manage the family in terms of development.
Number 2?
Yeah. Number 2, family should avoid the unnecessary argument. You'll find a way of calling yourself in case of there's something wrong. There's some argument that we need to should not involve our children. Yeah.
You do have any other one?
Yeah, and some people, some marriages,
Yes.
so always like complaining about the specific need. Tell your partner what you need and what you need to be done. I think that one can also help.
Okay. Thank you for that. Enjoy the rally and keep us posted. Sawa, Jimmy.
Okay, I will keep you posted, Barbara.
Hello, Spice.
Okay, I will keep.
Please reduce
Hello?
reduce the volume of your radio or your gadget and please proceed.
Okay, poa.
Mnaambie maoni yako ya leo ni yapi?
Niko na swali nataka nimuulize Jackie.
Endelea.
Kwa 30.
Tuko wazima.
Sasa. Wale watoto mmewalea, tuseme kuna wale wako na kuna wale wenye si wako, ni wale mwingine. Ukishawalea wakikuwa wakubwa, ni gani inafika unaanza kuambia sasa mimi ni mzazi wenu wa ukweli ama mimi nimekuwa msaidizi wenu? Yaani kuko na hiyo haja ya kuwaelezea ama hakuna haja?
Asante. Jackie, I'll translate because someone doesn't understand Kiswahili on this table.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yes, yeah.
Putting in a lot of Kiswahili.
It's okay.
The caller is asking, in the event that you have, you get into a relationship, a blended family, where they have very young kids, and you nurture them in, and they grow and they get to love you. At what point in their lives should you tell them, I'm not your biological mother, I'm your adoptive I'm your stepmother? And is it something you encourage, or if they do not know and the bio mother is not present, or the bio parent, you just sail away into it? I want you to come back to answer that question as we go into this break. 0719-012-600 is the number to call. You could also chime in on the conversation through our social media handles, Spice FM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We are talking about how to build a successful and functional blended family. To go with open arms. Are you having some questions? And those questions, if you have, today we have a psychologist and we have a life coach who's walked the journey and is someone who advocates for blended families and how to navigate through. We're talking about building a successful and functional blended family. The number to call is 0719-012-600. You can also chime in on the conversation through our social media handles, Spice FM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Hello, Spice. Hello. Please don't breathe. Hello. Hello, Clinton.
Hello, Spice FM.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. By the way, I like tonight's topic.
Thank you very much.
It is on fire.
That's what we like to hear.
Do you have any questions
Before
for
I
the guest?
continue, Barbara,
Yes,
a
sir.
request, please.
Yes.
Please bring for us a heartbroken soul to inspire us.
Okay. We shall do
Yes.
that. We shall put it on the list of guests. You want someone who has been heartbroken to inspire you. Karigo has not inspired you enough?
Okay.
But
Tell her I've
don't worry.
inspired you so that she knows I have.
Don't worry. I've taken note and my producer has taken note of that. We'll look for someone.
Okay, thank you.
What are your thoughts or questions to the guest?
Okay, before that, hi, our guest.
Hi.
By the way, I love your energy and brevity.
Thank you.
Okay, my question.
Clinton, are you okay? Clinton, take a moment, then you can get back to us on that. Questions are emotional, right? Hello, Spice. Then you can get back to us on that. Please reduce the volume of your radio or your gadget, then you can proceed. Hello. Franklin.
Yes, of course. How are you?
I'm fine. Now you're back on. Ask your question. Karigo mtaongea kesho.
Wewe.
Uh-huh.
Eh?
Leo ni kazi. Mimi si mundu mlo. Leo ni kazi. Tuko na guest. Tukikuwa na wageni, mimi ndio nimekaa kwa kiti ni housekeeping.
Yeah. No, I had you in the morning last night.
Yes.
And you said you're delegating duties.
Yes, I delegated. I'll take it back to him tomorrow. But leo tuko na mgeni.
If
So
you're
how's...
not around, salimia mzungu.
Mzungu amesalimika. Franklin, what is your question to the guest?
Okay, what was the test? Just give me a clue.
Hiya.
Frankly, just think about it. Arnold, what are you seeing on your socials? No, you understand why I need
You
to
know,
be
we have a
perfect.
question that we've not answered.
Yes,
Oh,
please.
yes.
Yeah, can we go back?
Yes, please.
Um,
About the gentleman who was
yes,
asking
yes.
that, hey, he's in his 30s. He constantly is meeting women who have children, either one or two, and is asking himself that how can he get courage?
Yeah, there's that one and there's another one.
Yes.
So, for that one, can you imagine he's calling it courage?
Yes. Are you seeing what I go through? Are you seeing
That was the funny part.
Yes.
I just think it's a matter of preference. If you're not,
Yeah, if he
it's not
can't
your
do
cup of
it,
tea,
if
don't
it's not,
force.
let's he does he have enough courage to sustain him till death do us part?
That's the
Yes.
question. If you're
Yes.
looking for courage now,
Yeah.
will you handle?
Do you have the courage to sustain you till death do you part? So he may need to look for other avenues to meet the women that he wants to marry.
Yes, and they're there.
If he's looking, the way he's been looking for them does not work, he may need interventions, people to introduce him to people.
Change tact.
Yeah. He may need new strategies and tell the people what kind of woman he's looking for.
Yes.
So that's what he can do. For the other gentleman who I wish I could answer in Kiswahili, but because of
Yes.
him,
Yes. Yes.
Feel free though. Feel free.
I
I'll
hope
pick it up.
If
Yes.
I do, and then you'll have to translate.
Yes. Mimi
So-
mkalimani by the tutaendelea.
Yes.
So I'll just do English.
Yes.
I think it is very important to tell the kids the truth.
Yeah.
That I am not your bio parent. I am your parent, but I did not give birth to you.
Yes.
But I love you as a parent. I will raise you as a parent, and you are mine.
Yes.
Yes. It is good to tell them that.
Yeah.
Kwa sababu usiposema bado kuna mtu anajua wewe si mzazi wake, atamwambia.
Atafichua siri.
Eh, na vile wataambiwa
Si vile
wataambiwa
ungeta.
in a very
Yeah.
bad way.
Yeah.
So if you don't say it,
Mm.
somebody in the
very
community,
true.
Yes.
in the
will-
society knows it is the truth. They will tell the child, and they will do it in a way that is not even good. So manage it by being the one to break the news to the child.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Hello, Spice. Please reduce the volume of your radio or your gadget, then proceed. What is your name, sir?
Hi, it's Ricky.
Hi, Ricky. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. How have you been?
Salama sana. Thank you for making time
Say
to call
hi
us.
to Karigo
Hi.
and Mzungu.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well.
Oh, okay. Daktari, now, I haven't said hi to Daktari. Daktari, how are you?
Yes.
I'm fine. Wani ko daktari.
Oh, all right. I have a son.
Yes.
And previously, while dating, I met these few ladies who had kids. But I found a challenge on blending the family because you say my partner was to engage the biological dad in the relationship. And I was to engage
Ricky,
the
just repeat
biological
that.
mother.
Just repeat that.
Yeah?
You lost us a bit. You have a son.
Okay. I'm saying
Yes.
I'm having a son. I met this lady who had a son too.
Okay.
So both of you have children.
Yes.
Okay.
Then it came about that all the sons had to see their biological parents. So I saw as a challenge. It was a challenge because most of the time, this lady would seek for the biological dad approval on a few things regarding the son, and I would do the same too on the biological mom. So the challenge was more.
I'm sorry. You had two new people in this relationship of yours.
I actually literally had to quit because I noticed it seems like each and every party is concentrating with their biological
child.
party. And again, you're also trying to blend a family. So I'd just inquire from Daktari if probably we can be a bit realistic and frank in a way that regardless of how much we say love might be valued, it's also good is it advisable if on blended families it only be one-sided? Let's say one is single with no kids and the other has kids. Then probably it can make sense. If both of them have kids and we are engaging the biological parents,
There's a
then
square
clearly
relationship
we are actually running two different parallel relationships, which then, why should they not just stay together and parent?
Okay, thank you for that, Ricky. Yes,
That's
Jackie.
an interesting question.
You see
What
why I
to
didn't want
do?
to involve these people, Jackie. You see this problem. I was trying to avoid enlighten us on this.
They may not be able to stay together because of the parenthood. If kids were the bond that kept you together, then people with kids should not get divorced.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Kids should
that's
make the
true.
marriage happy.
When it doesn't work
And
like
So
never
that.
it
works
doesn't
like
work
that.
like that. So as much as they were consulting the bio parents, they were consulting on the parentship. They were not consulting on the relationship. It is the meaning they put behind it. And how much and how often were they consulting? Because the basic needs of the child are routine. You can schedule them.
Yes.
Once we agree on the school, we are not going to talk about the school every day.
Yes.
If it is feeding, we don't talk about it every day. What is it about these two kids that every time, the frequency of consulting the bio parent, what were they talking about? Because we can set up systems for us to still parent.
Yes.
There are apps today for parenting, for those couples that cannot see eye to eye but they want to co-parent. There are apps today for co-parenting
Yes.
that have schedules. This is what we need to do. These are the routines that we need to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So just because they were consulting with the other parents, but it looks like it was so frequent.
Yes. It was more than consultation.
It was more than consultation.
Yeah, that brought
And
the drift
yes.
or the friction.
true. And it's also the fact that did they have the basic expectations of their house, or their house expectations were also run by the different exes?
Or the things you were talking about, rules. Did you
Exactly.
set certain rules?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they plan for how they will live together? How do we make this life work, despite the fact that I will co-parent with Arnold? How do we make this work?
And you can't have that conversation after, you have to have it before.
Yes, you have to have it before, but the people who are inside and they're struggling in this, you can still converse today.
Jackie is saying by the time you decide to have a blended family and you know there's a biological parent, you need to set certain rules. You need to talk about expectations and more so what works for you, not the other party. About how to build a successful and functional blended family. We're having a conversation with Jackie Kea. She's a life coach, a psychologist, and someone who's walked the journey and walks the talk. So, hey, if you are not plugging in, tell a friend to tell a friend, because we'll definitely plug this in on our stream and our socials. Korigo, you had a question.
Yes. What are the statistics of blended families today? For
The success
everyone
rate.
listening, yes, the success rate.
Why are you asking that question?
Because
What's wrong with you?
I have to be the one to ask the hard questions. Because you've seen, eh?
That's a good question. I think you've been hearing me speaking about step family preparation.
Yes.
Now, if there are couples that need to do a premarital
Class.
for step family, are the people getting into blended families. There are a lot of moving pieces.
Yes.
Yeah? You know, a lot of moving parts. 60% of step family marriages end in divorce.
60%.
Of the second marriage ends in divorce.
Wow.
Yes.
I didn't realize it was that high.
It is. Because the dynamics, it's complex, it's dynamic, and there are so many other people involved. It's not
And
just
you say
the couple.
children contribute to this?
If we let them, or if we don't do our part, the children can contribute to it. Yes.
So
Because you see, we are the adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're like the guiding factor.
Yes. We are the foundation. So if there is any family that needs a strong marriage, strong families are built around strong marriages.
Yes.
Strong families are not built around good kids.
or good relationships with your kids.
Yes, no.
That makes a lot of sense, though.
Strong families are built around strong marriages.
Yeah.
Therefore, the complexities and dynamics of a blended family require you as a couple to have a strong relationship, because it's going to be the foundation and the backbone that is going to carry all the challenges and all the dynamics, all the complexities of that family.
Yes.
If that foundation is shaky, then you're in trouble.
Get that.
Yeah.
So it's the two of you.
Yes.
You alone.
It is the two of you.
The two of you have to make it
Yeah.
work. For
You
it
have to
work.
make it work.
Yeah.
Even for me to be a good step parent, it takes the bio parent. Alone, I cannot be a good step parent. It takes two to be a good step parent. The person who made his kids step parent, or the woman who made her kids step parent, and then me, the step parent. Because alone, I do not have a relationship with these kids. So support your spouse as a bio parent. You can't just let it flow. Yeah. And if the bio parent also does not trust the step parent, why would your kids trust me?
Exactly.
Wow.
Why?
It takes two ways. Now, you are the founder of the Blended Family Network.
Yes.
What exactly does Blended Family Network do?
A blended family network is a resource that I formed for people in blended families. Because remember, I told you my journey was lonely,
Yes.
and even the resources were so scarce, and people don't talk about these things. So in Blended Family Network, what we do, we offer three programs. There's step family preparation for couples. There's stepmom wisdom for stepmoms. After the stepmom wisdom course, you get into our WhatsApp group, which is private, where you can now speak without judgment, where you can rant, you can vent, and we will not think that, oh, she hates her stepkids, because they understand. And we have also just couple coaching for anyone who is in a step family and needs to be coached or are going through a tough time. You can come in and we will coach you. I will coach you through it and support you.
Now, this is for couples, because you've said you have the stepmom ones.
Yes.
Now, the other one is for couples.
Yes, the
stepfathers are
other
not
two
different.
are for couples.
Oh, the other-
Stepfathers, I
okay.
don't have something for them. Some have been asking.
I'm also asking on their behalf.
But I usually see like the
So
so
stepfathers actually benefit from the couple programs.
Yeah, for the both couple
Yes,
programs.
because unfortunately, men do not come for these things as much. Because I'm also a life coach. I have a program that is called Fresh Start. I believe in fresh starts. In case your life is stuck, you have something that has happened to you, you're going through any challenges, I have a program that is called Fresh Start, where I will give you one-on-one. It's not a group thing, because it's individual and personalized.
For
One-on-one
blended is
coaching.
group.
For blended is group, but also personal.
Okay.
Yes, because at times waiting for people to come and getting that group can take time.
Yes.
Yeah. So at times it is personal, and you can also take the group. But the Fresh Start coaching is personal, one-on-one coaching. And I can tell you, out of maybe 20 women who will come in, and this is individual session, I'll count 2 men. You know, so men actually don't come for coaching and counseling. Most of my clients are more women. Though I have a trickle of women, of men. Yes. So stepfathers, maybe one day we will get something for
Maybe
you.
they'll open up.
Yes, I think they need to.
Now, if someone wanted to reach you,
Yes.
and they're wondering, you know what, I want to reach Jackie Care.
Yes.
I want to have a one-on-one, because there are people who have maybe issues, they don't want to articulate it. How can they reach you?
On Facebook, I am Jackie Care. I have a page called Coach Jackie Care that you can get to. I have another page for the Blended Family Network. I have a private group for blended family moms. You can request and we'll get you in. And on Instagram, I am Coach Jackie Care. I have videos on YouTube where I talk about this. You can learn more about blended families or how to have a fresh start as Coach Jackie. You can call me
Yes.
on 0726 460 245.
Would you like to repeat that number again?
0726 460 245.
And how about if we have this? What are your thoughts as we are about to end this show? If I am someone who is thinking about going into marriage, despite the issues of expectations, is it something you encourage? Now you, as Jackie, not you as the coach, is it something you encourage? And more so from now a layman, mwananchi kama mimi, what should I expect and not feel woye for myself?
If you're getting into a blended family,
Yes.
you will expect rejection. You will expect other dynamics that you didn't think about.
Like what?
Barbara wants, for example.
For example, like how I came to realize I do all the mommy duties. I am a mom. I give like a mom.
Yes.
But I am not totally a mom.
That's what you're
So
saying.
you will expect such. But by the time you get to learn that, if you allow yourself to learn, you will learn it. If you don't, you're going to gnash, or you're going to ask yourself, what did I get myself into? Yeah. So, and also one of the things that we do mostly when we get into blended families, we try to make it look like the other family, stigma. Even when we say, hata kuna mtu anajuaga
Shida zangu.
Yani nobody knows there's difference here.
Yes.
And Africans like that. Okay.
Sana.
You can't know the difference.
Yes.
You can't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
And
Is
you
that a good thing?
That is what we want to accomplish.
Oh,
Yeah. For
That's
me,
the goal.
the difference is not bad. But even in our difference, we are functioning.
so we need to embrace the differences.
You have to embrace that. You have to embrace that my family is not like hers, who nobody came with kids. Structure defines function.
Yes.
Wow.
That is why a fork is used for what it's used for. You cannot use a fork to eat soup.
Yes.
So if you understand the structure of your step family, then understanding the role and the functioning becomes easier.
Most definitely.
But if I am looking at her structure and I want to function like her and my structure is not like her, you're going to be in trouble.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. I've learned so much today. I've seen your calls. My God, the deck was lit. Augustine and everyone who was on the call. I am not able to pick up your calls because time is not on our side. Karigo, do you have something to say to the guest?
I really am. Hey, I've learned so much. Considering that I'm searching, single, no babies
She even
yet.
learned something offline. Justice.
Yeah. So, like, honestly, the one takeaway I'm getting from her is, you remember on the break, she said, she said, love your child more than you hate your ex.
Yes.
I really just want to repeat that. Love your child more than you hate your ex.
Yes.
For all the adults listening, please take a leaf from that. Like,
Yes.
honestly.
And for you, Arnold.
Yes, I think this is a very, very important conversation. As I told you, I grew up in Australia and the dynamic is naturally very different. So to come home and to see people having these honest conversations is incredibly vital. So firstly, thank you so much for your time, for your openness and for your wisdom. I think we're in a time where we're seeing more of these blended families come up, and it's important that we have these spaces where we can talk about these things openly in order to build healthy families.
For everyone who plugged into the conversation, tunasema asante sana. Thank you for making time to be with us. Thank you for making time to listen to us. For those who called and was not able to pick up your call, tomorrow is another day. We will definitely be picking up your calls. For those who contributed to the conversation through our social media handles, we appreciate you making time. And even for those who are streaming, tunasema asante sana. Remember, today was Thursday, so I want to end the show by shouting out all the adults in the room. You who is in Kakamega, you who's in Kisumu, who is in Australia, you who is in Zambia, everywhere else from Timbuktu, Turkana, Nairobi, Machakos. We appreciate you and we love you. On behalf of the Spice family, that is I, the Duchess of Ikolomani, Arnold, Korigo, Mumbin Jeroge, we are saying good night and God bless you.